We are a world away from the home base of Islamic State, but a visiting terror expert says that's no excuse for thinking we're out of its reach. Professor Greg Barton from Australia's Monash University is in New Zealand speaking about IS, foreign fighters and radicalisation. He says Kiwi teenagers can be groomed online by extremists and we should be made aware of the signs. Greg Barton joins me now. Greg, morning to you.
Morning, Paul. Good
the interesting thing here, what we're talking about here is the radicalisation of young New Zealanders to commit terrorist acts in New Zealand. So it is something we should be concerned about.
We've seen it happening in Australia, and just the last few months it's accelerated. Even the last month we've had 2 plots stopped with teenagers involved, and cases where they've been radicalised online, no one close to them.
Okay, so because it has accelerated, as you say, in Australia, is that reason to believe that that may be happening here and may also be accelerating here?
I think we've got to plan on that basis. I mean, let's hope that's wrong, but we've got to plan on that basis because conservatively that seems very, very likely.
So is this something that we should actually be alarmed about and actively being aware of?
Yeah, there are warning signs of radicalisation, so we should be letting families and community groups sort of know what to look out for if a kid's slipping away, ideas becoming more extreme, new circle of friends, new propensity to offend, getting into trouble. Those are warning signs that, if we step in early, we can do something. There's a kid arrested in Melbourne 10 days ago because friends spoke up when they saw something on his Facebook page. They called a hotline. Otherwise, that kid may have blown himself and others up on Mother's Day. He'd had 3 bombs assembled.
So what is the modus operandi for IS operating in a country like New Zealand? What is the point from their point of view?
They want to build their brand. They want to make themselves the #1 source for anyone with those sort of extremist ideas, both by holding territory in Iraq and Syria, but also by drawing foreign fighters in. And the more they're pressed in Iraq and Syria, pushing back and launching a series of attacks that are around the world. We've seen quite a few already. The Martin Place siege in Melbourne being one. Charlie Hebdo in Paris had a link through Koulibaly and the Jewish supermarket. We're going to see many more of those things.
Are you surprised by how, for want of a better term, clever they are, how effective they are in using the internet? I know you've said in a very similar way to predators on children use the internet.
It's disturbing how very good they are. They've got sort of mastery of their psychology. We can see with their conventional media, their videos, just how well shot and post-produced they are. Their online publications are so slick and well done. There's also a bunch of social media stuff which they don't generate directly. But from what we've seen of radicalisation, they're now moving to a pace where they radicalise people within weeks or months. They're shifting from 20-somethings to teenagers, and they're increasingly pushing them towards attacking at home.
So there will be people watching and listening to this program now, potentially, whose young teenagers are in their room being radicalised by IS on the computer.
Look, it's entirely possible, and I think we have to plan on that conservative basis. So the main thing is if you have concerns, speak up so somebody can help.
All right, let's talk about those because there are 3 key concerns. You touched on them before. So for people who have youngsters at home, what are the things to look out for?
First thing is a shift in their ideas. I mean, having strong ideas is normal for kids particularly, but a shift in ideas, going from a complete turnaround in what they believe in. Secondly, a change in their social circles, cutting off old friends, making new friends, perhaps a mysterious stranger or a mysterious online friend. You may get a hint of that from the way they're acting.
And it is very common that during radicalisation they will literally drop friends that they've had for a long time.
Absolutely, that's one of the signs that they're shifting.
And thirdly?
Thirdly, getting into trouble with the law. Perhaps they've never offended in the past. Now they're getting picked up on small things, or at least they're talking very angry talk about doing things for a kid that never did that in the past.
All right. It's just good to have the information, isn't it? Greg, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Professor
Thanks very
Greg
much.
Barton, Monash University terror expert.